Hey guys, welcome to PNW Enduro. Today I'm testing my KTM 2020 250XC TPI versus 2019 YZ250X. Now there's about $2,000 to $2,500 difference between these two bikes, and today I'm going to ride them back to back, see what the differences are, and I'm going to go into detail about why the KTM may cost a lot more. Obviously it's a fuel injected bike versus a carb bike. That's the major difference, but there's a lot more to it and we're going to go into that today. So stick around, hope you enjoy the video. Alright, first ride on the 2019 YZ250X. So these bikes are virtually unchanged since they started making them in 2016 or 2017, I think it was. So this is Richard's bike. It's a low hour 2019. Automatically, first thing I noticed obviously is the vibrations. KTM being counterbalanced, Yamaha is not.
Pricing on bikes is going to vary a bit depending on where you live. I talked to a dealer in Washington State that sells KTM and Yamaha. They're selling the KTM at $10,000 and the Yamaha at $7,500. That's a difference of $2,500 or 25%.
Motor feels nice and peppy. Just crawling along second, third gear stuff right now. So first gear seems pretty good for a little technical section there on the rocks. Turning radius maybe not quite as sharp as the KTM.
After spending the day on the YZ, the turning radius is nowhere close to the KTM. In fact, it's probably the worst of all the bikes I've ridden this year.
All good? It's probably nicer right here. This fender is a good grip, where KTM is kind of lacking in that department. No, it's not a big deal, but helps when you need to get it turned around.
I keep hearing how much lighter the YZ is over the KTM. To me, it does feel lighter on the trail when you move it around and when you have to pick it up. But in reality, it's only 3 pounds lighter. The KTM comes in at 239.5 and the Yamaha 236.5. That's full of fuel, ready to ride. Also keep in mind the KTM carries about half a liter more fuel than the Yamaha.
the Yamaha really feels light and nimble. It is a little bit lighter than the KTM. Suspension is nice and plush. So what I expected, everyone raves about the KYB forks. They feel pretty good to me so far. So back on my KTM. Power delivery on the KTM is way more linear. Take that for what it's worth, depends on what you like.
Alright, let's get into what the KTM has that makes it more expensive than the Yamaha and what it would cost to put those items on the Yamaha. The big one is the electric start. You can add electric start to the YZ, but it's around $1,000 and it's still the old unreliable bolt-on style that the old KTMs had. On the flip side, the KTM does not have a Kickstarter, but it's kind of useless to add one onto a fuel-injected bike anyways. The next big thing would be the hydraulic clutch. I really feel like the hydraulic clutches work better than the cable clutches, and that's about another $250. The last upgrade I feel is necessary for the YZ would be a larger fuel tank. The stock tank on the YZ is 7.9 liters. I feel like on a carbureted cross-country enduro bike you need a 10-liter fuel tank, and it also needs to be a clear tank so you can see your fuel level. The stock tank on the TPI bike is only about half a liter larger, but you do get a lot better fuel economy with a fuel-injected bike. Add another $200 for a larger fuel tank on the Yamaha. If you add up all these upgrades to the YZ, you're still going to come in at about $1,000 less than the KTM.
Oh, surprised they made that up. I didn't have enough speed. Just kind of crawled up the last part.
The TPI bike is a tractor. Just look how it lugs up this very steep, loose, dry hill.
There we go. The Yamaha made it up there just fine.
More aggressive power delivery on the YZ made it difficult to get up this hill without the wheel wanting to spin.
Definitely does not tractor like the KTM. Holy. And this is where electric start comes in handy. So coming off the Yamaha back onto my KTM. Definitely a different power delivery. KTM seems like a lot more tame, definitely more linear, but in the technical stuff it's a lot more usable, I find. being able to just lug up and over that log. So suspension wise, I don't feel like the KTM is giving up anything on the Yamaha. The KYBs on the Yamaha feel great. My air forks, I've added an SKF glide kit. Otherwise the valving is stock. Maybe if you're comparing like 2014 through 16 KTMs with those 4CS forks, then yeah, the Yamaha KYBs are far superior. But modern day air forks, even the Explorers, they're really good. So, impressions of the Yamaha today: fun bike, good suspension, but I feel like it's still really a motocross bike at heart. The power delivery is a lot more peppy. Doesn't seem to quite have the bottom end grunt that my TPI bike has.
To me, it feels like the YZ250X is more of a modified motocross bike than a full-on enduro or cross-country bike. For the kind of riding I do, an electric start is an absolute must-have. I also think it should have a clear fuel tank with a long range capacity, and the hydraulic clutch to me performs a lot better than a cable clutch. That's my thoughts on the YZ250X versus a KTM 250XC TPI. Let me know in the comments how you think the Yamaha stacks up against the KTM. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.